Is your niche too saturated? That question might stop you before you even begin. You look around, see how many creators are already there, and quietly assume the door is closed. Did you ever hesitate because of that, or feel like you arrived too late or missed your chance? In this video, we're going to look at what saturation actually means, why it feels so heavy, and how a niche that looks crowded on the surface can still have space for you. When people say a niche is saturated, they're usually reacting to what they see on the surface. They search online, open YouTube, or scroll through social media and notice how much content already exists. Yeah, there's a lot of content out there. There are many channels, many posts, and many voices talking about similar things. From that view, it feels crowded. It can look like everything has already been covered and that there's nothing new to add. At that point, saturation becomes a visual obstacle. It's based on how busy it looks from the outside. From that perspective, it's easy to assume there is no space left. Saturation feels heavy because it quickly turns into comparison. You see channels with years of content, large audiences, and confident voices. Without meaning to, you start comparing your starting point to their current position. That gap can feel discouraging, especially when you're just trying to decide whether to begin. This creates the feeling of being late. It can feel like the opportunity has already passed, even if you're genuinely interested in the niche. That thought alone is enough to stop you before you even take a single step. And once that hesitation settles in, it becomes harder to look at the niche calmly. Everything starts to feel heavier than it actually is. What's often missing when you look at the saturated niche is how broadly most people are speaking. A lot of content is created for everyone at once. The language stays general, the advice stays wide, and the message tries to appeal to as many people as possible. Because of that, the niche can look more crowded than it actually is. Not because there's no room, but because it's hard to tell who each message is really meant for. Once you start paying attention to that, the picture begins to change. You realize that many creators are talking about the same topic, but very few are speaking clearly to a specific person. That shift in how you look at the niche is important. It's the difference between seeing a wall of content and seeing gaps where clarity is missing. So, instead of being first, you can create a space by being clear. When you stop trying to speak to everyone, the niche starts to feel different. The focus shifts from the topic itself to the person listening. That change alone alters how crowded things appear. Most content competes because it sounds similar. It covers the same ideas in the same way and aims to reach the widest possible audience. When the message becomes more specific, it no longer blends into that noise. This is where space opens up, not because fewer people are present, but because fewer people are speaking with clarity. Then suddenly, the niche stops feeling saturated and starts feeling workable. Looking at saturation this way can take a lot of pressure off. Instead of seeing it as a warning sign, you can see it as information. A busy niche usually means people are interested. It means there are conversations happening and problems worth talking about. That alone tells you there is demand, not that the door is closed. When you approach it calmly, saturation stops feeling personal. It turns from an obstacle to an opportunity. If a niche feels saturated, it usually means you're looking at it from the outside, without enough context yet. Once you start paying attention to who you want to speak to and how clearly you can speak to them, the pressure changes. The niche stops feeling closed and starts feeling more approachable. What can make it work is a clear place to stand and a message that makes sense to the people you want to help. If the idea of saturation has been holding you back, it's often because the niche feels too big and unclear from the outside. What you need now is to understand one big mistake that holds many people back when choosing a niche. Watch this video next to learn what that mistake is and how to avoid it.